What up? It's DJ MV right now. You checking out All Hip Hop. Salute.
What's going on, world? It's your man, Chuck Creekmur, a.k.a. Jigsaw, and I'm here with a special guest, DJ Envy, who has executive produced a new documentary called Tale of the Tape, now streaming on Amazon Prime. What's up, bro? How you doing? I'm good, man.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. So, first things first, tell me about this documentary, why it's special, and what prompted you to get involved with it.
So we pretty much the same age. So, growing up for us, music was everything. And I think that was part of the height of the mixtape game. Everybody was a mixtape DJ. We can go through it from Clue to Who Kid to Drama to, you name it, Tony Touch, you name it. Everybody was a DJ. I can go deeper to Ike Love and Jade Ellen Rello. There was so many mixtape DJs, but that was our soundtrack, right? That was when we started hearing blends and started hearing cutting and started hearing scratching, and we had cars, so we wanted those tapes to be for the ride of the cars. And I just thought it was a lost art where people didn't necessarily understand that.
Yeah.
Right now, mixtape, well, DJs or anybody could be a DJ. And as long as you can purchase a laptop, you can be a DJ, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of trash DJs. So with this documentary, they recount where the mixtape DJs came from and the importance of a DJ. And it goes through everybody from Brucey B to Kid Capri to Clue to myself to Drama to so many. It's so many DJs, you can't name them all, but it starts the story of that.
What got you into it in terms of the allure of it? What attracted you? Was it the scratching, the blending, the cars? What was it about DJing it?
At first, it was the money.
Okay.
It was the money. Damn right. And I tell a story all the time. I was lucky. And the reason I say I was lucky is Clue lived across the street from me.
Right.
And if anybody knows mixtape or Clue's history, you know that Clue never put his face on the mixtape. You didn't know who Clue was. It was just a question mark. And we used to, get his tapes. And I used to actually bootleg his tapes in my high school, tell all the high school kids it was me. Because I went to St. Francis Prep, which was a predominantly white school. So the kids didn't know. They just wanted to hear the music. And I just remember one day waiting at the bus stop, and it's cold. And, I'm doing that in New York, shimmy back and forth trying to stay warm. And here comes my friend, Ernesto Shaw, pulling up in his 3 Series.
Okay.
Now, back then, a 3 Series was like a Bentley. The 3 Series was like a Ferrari growing up. So I ran up to him, at the light, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And he was like, yo, come to my crib after school. And I'm like, all right. After school, I knock on his door. His mom says, Ernesto's downstairs. I go downstairs, and when I walk downstairs, I see records and tape decks and dads and MPCs and all types of stuff. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Yeah. He's like, I'm a DJ. And I'm like, a DJ? Well, what's your DJ name? And he goes, Clue. And that started everything. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, so wait a minute. You can get paid for doing what you like?
Yeah.
And my dad is a retired police officer, hated his job. My mom worked for Guardian Life Insurance, hated her job. So I was like, I want to do this. And it just started from there. And he guided me, yo, buy these turntables, buy this, buy that. And that's where my love for music came. And I just did it. My parents, supported me because that was during the crack era. And anything to keep me in the basement, they were happy. So whatever was going to keep me in the house, they were like, just practice. And it was what it was from there.
With this documentary, what's the takeaway for people? What's the big takeaway?
I mean, there's so many different takeaways. One is origin. For me, is the value of a DJ, how important a DJ is. I mean, it breaks down. Somebody like Swiss Beats talks about how he got his production ideas and the way he makes his beats from listening to the intros of the mixtapes. Because back then, you used to make an intro for your mixtape, and he was like, I love that, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's how it got me to doing producing.
Now, you were the first person to play Hit 'Em Up on a mixtape.
Correct.
Being a DJ from New York, how did that go over? And what prompted you to even do that, being that it was such a, fiery diss record?
Right. So I got that record first, and at the time, it was like, I know a lot of DJs weren't going to play it. At the time, I was behind everybody. I mean, when you talk about DJs, it was SNS, it was Craig G, it was Clue, it was Kid Capri, just in the New York area. And I was like, I need to get my foot in the door.
Okay.
And I was like, what? I'm going to play this record, and then we'll go from there. Like, we'll see what happens. So they gave me the record, and I said, this is going to be one of the biggest mixtapes ever. And it was, and it went crazy. And, at the time, I know Big and Puff was mad, but I was getting my foot in the door, and it was music. And that's where it started.
What mixtape was that on?
I don't even remember.
And how did you get it?
I don't even know if the person would want to tell me, but the person is somebody me and you both know.
Okay.
Big time producer.
Okay.
Brought so many artists to the forefront of this industry. And some of the artists, one of the artists in this, is a picture of him is in the studio that he's brought to the forefront. Ooh. So I'll let you figure it out.
The mystery. Okay.
What's your background?
What do you mean?
Background. Ethnic.
I'm black.
I mean, I know that. Are you from Caribbean or just black?
Black.
Okay, just asking.
American black. Foundational black.
I just asking.
Okay. Why you ask that?
Nah, because the person's from Caribbean. I thought maybe y'all were from the same.
I got a Caribbean look.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Okay. I take that as a little bit. Yeah. I need to do that though. Actually, okay. Did you get any heat from that? Like, did you talk about it slightly in the documentary about sort of?
I did get a little heat, but the best thing about it was that record came out in what year? 1999, 2000?
Nah, before that.
Before that?
Yeah.
98, 97. So my savior was college.
96, by
96, yeah. So my savior was college.
Okay.
So after I did the mixtape, I went back to school.
Okay.
So while people were mad in New York, I was in Hampton, Virginia, chilling. You were
HU.
So I went to Hampton. So I was back in college, and I remember when Biggie and they came on tour to do it. I stayed in the house. I was like, I ain't coming outside. And there was rumored that C's and Big were looking for me in Hampton's campus, but I just stayed inside.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you went to Howard, it'd have been
they would have caught me. They would have found me. They would have definitely found me.
Yeah. Facts. All right. So let me ask you a question. Give me your top. No, actually, let me position this differently. If you're frozen in time,
1,000
years, you get melted. You get defrosted, and they wake you up and say, What are mixtapes? And you have to give them one mixtape. What mixtape that you didn't do you give them?
That I didn't do. I was gonna say The Empire Strikes Back, which is mine, but I would probably do Clue the Professional.
Okay.
I would do Clue the Professional, and the reason that was Clue's real mixtape album, and I think it was just a little bit of everything. There was a little bit of R&B, and that's what the mixtapes were about, blending both hip hop and R&B and the dopest records, the dopest MCs. And I think Clue's album did that. And I think he was one of the first to go platinum. So yeah. I would definitely do that one.
What about your favorite non-rap mixtape?
Non-rap mixtape. What do you mean?
What was your favorite? Like, is there one, sometimes they had R&B blends or even slow.
I think J Del and Rello. If you don't know who J Del and Rello is, they're two DJs from Queens. They used to be like the blend masters.
Okay.
They were probably one of the best when it came to that.
Yeah.
That I would have to go with J Del and Rello mixtape.
Speak to the relevance of mixtapes now. Are they? Glorilla just dropped a quote unquote mixtape. Are they relevant now, or what are they now to the culture?
Well, mixtapes back then were a way to kind of get. It was a promo. It was free form of promo. But an artist would get to rap over beats without clearing samples, right?
Right.
And Mobb Deep talks about that on the documentary, where they can get a chance to rap over their favorite beats that maybe another rapper rapped on that they feel like they could rap better. Maybe it was a chance to do a record with somebody that they couldn't clear.
Right.
Now the industry is a lot easier to clear. I mean, you see everybody doing an album. I mean, you look at Drake. How many times have Drake done an album with somebody? You would never see that before. You think about Drake did an album with Future. Drake has done an album with 21 Savage. I mean, you would never see that before. It would be too much politics. The labels wouldn't have that. So people would do records with each other on mixtapes. Now you don't really get that. Now it's just an artist's way of getting themselves hot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like an artist will do a mixtape of the records that didn't make the album, just put some stuff out there. But back then it meant something. Back then people waited for it. Back then people wanted to see it. They went to the stores to go get it. It wasn't streaming, so it was a lot more difficult. You had to be coming from work. You had to go to your local store to get it, Jamaica Avenue, downtown Brooklyn, in the Bronx. You had to go get it. You had to go to Mustafa. You had to go to the Africans, which was usually selling the mixtapes, to go get it. And you waited for it. You waited for that new Envy, that new Clue, that new Tony Touch, that new doo-wop, whatever you were into. You waited for Kid Capri, and when it came out, it was like you would hear it in every car driving up and down.
They talk about, we talk about the internet, and 50 Cent was on the cutting edge of being the rapper when it turned, the rapper
Correct.
mixtape. Now, if you Google mixtapes, it's almost all rapper mixtapes that
Correct.
come up in the first search.
Yep.
What part, was that a good thing, bad? What are your views on that?
I think for 50, I think it was one of those times where the world hated him. Like he nobody really wanted to mess with Fifth. And although the G Unit mixtape was G Unit, but it was still backed by a DJ. Who Kid was the one that put a lot of those plays together and was able to figure out where those, where the stores were and how to market it and how to put it out. But 50 was one of the ones that he probably made millions off that mixtape, went on tour off that mixtape, and got his deal off of those mixtapes. So them G Unit mixtapes really helped and broke artists. It broke Tony Ayo. It broke Lloyd Banks. So he was probably one of the first ones to do it and be successful doing it.
Yeah. Every now and then I'll look up G Unit in the house for it to just show up on streaming, and it never does.
Yeah, and I mean, he was the one that found lost Notorious B.I.G. verses and do records. He was the one that found lost Pac verses, and he would never be able to clear that.
Right.
Mixtape, everything was game.
Yeah. And Joe Budden claims to be before 50. Was he really before 50 in that regard?
I don't think he was before 50 when it came to that. Maybe the Desert Storm mixtape when it was him, Fab, and Paul came, but I'm remembering 50 was one of the first.
And also Dipset, they claim to maybe be the first. Like they alleged that they really came before 50.
It was all around the same time,
Yeah.
but I don't know anybody that had more impact than those G Unit mixtapes.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it like this: a mixtape cover had people wearing the G Unit tank top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's a fact.
I'm not gonna say, but Dipset had a lot of impact too as well. I mean, they had the world wearing bandanas and red, white, and blue and big ass belts and things like that. But that G Unit mixtape was just different.
And how do you feel about the internet? There's a bunch of mixtape websites now. Did that help or hurt? How did from your perspective, was that a good thing?
See, I'm somebody that is I love the internet in certain ways, but then I hate it, right? I love it because it's convenient, right? I could order stuff online, I could get it directly, but it takes the feeling out of it. It takes walking into probably one of the biggest mixtape stores, Beat Street Record, and walking into and hearing different mixtapes and seeing the crowd's reaction. It takes that out of it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you really wouldn't know what's on a mixtape until you walk into a store.
Yeah.
And you walk into a store and now somebody's playing a record and you're like, who is that?
Yeah.
And it's a DJ you don't know.
Right.
And you don't really care about the DJ. You care about, I want that tape. Yeah. And now you just fell in love with Dirty Harry and didn't even know who Dirty Harry was. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then you listen to another one, like, whose mix was that? Green Lantern. All right, I'm going to take it. Now you just fell in love. Now I'm a Green Lantern fan. Yeah. That's what, those brick and mortar stores did. The internet, you don't get that. It's like it's everybody's sheep. They follow what everybody else is doing. But I like the fact when people actually got out, got a chance to vibe with it and see it. And mixtapes, I mean, you heard it it was culture. Like you heard it in clothing stores. You heard it in, sneaker stores. You heard it in restaurants. It was culture.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Dirty Harry because around that time I moved to New York and I worked in a spot called the House of Nubian.
House of Nubian sold a lot of tapes for me.
Yeah, because I walked in there. I was in between jobs, and I walked in there, and I was like, yeah, I could work here for a while. You know what I mean? And so I ended up meeting a bunch of people who would come there to get their mixtapes or chew sticks or whatever, whatever they were trying to get. And it was I still have a bunch of tapes from that era. And I believe, I agree with you. Like, it was a different feeling. Even looking on the back and just looking at the track list, like, do I want this? Like, I don't know. I only got $10. Which one you wanted to get? But Dirty Harry, back to him, he was also like a blend, but he would really turn things into new works almost. Like it was like a different type of blend to me, and I really appreciate him.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the mixtape DJs. Everybody had their own style. You know what I mean? Kid Capri's mixtape was different than Brucey B's, which was different than Green Lantern, which was different than Dirty Harry. And it's like you bought those mixtapes because you wanted the different styles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the best thing about the mixtapes.
Yeah. So let's move on slightly to you as a person, your car situation. What are you listening to now? Like, what do you rock when you in your car?
You know what? It's different, right? And this is going to make you laugh, right? when my dad used to take me places, he used to listen to the news, right? 10 wins. And I'd be like, Dad, I want to hear music. But now that I do the Breakfast Club in the morning and I'm driving in the morning, I'm listening to 10 wins.
Wow.
I got to see what's going on. I'd be like, Trump did what? Joe Biden did what? What happened in Florida? What's going on in Ukraine? What just happened in Palestine? Like, you want to learn everything. So I'm listening to 10 wins. But outside of that, I'll be honest with you, I still listen a little bit of everything. I'll go from, Kendrick to, Cash Cobain to Old Hove and Nas. You know what I mean? It just depends what it is. The biggest thing I do is when I got my kids, especially my oldest in the car, I got a 22-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son. I let them plug in theirs just to see what they listening to.
Right.
So I know what's new. I know what's coming down the pipeline. And they put me onto a lot of it. When I'm in the gym with my son, like, yo, here, plug yours in. And they put me on to what people are listening to.
So I got to ask you, because this happened to me.
Yep.
My daughter's in the same range as yours. We talked about Kendrick and Drake.
Yep.
So I got to ask you, what are your kids saying about who won, if they're saying anything?
My daughter was Kendrick.
Okay.
And me and my son was Drake.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. Lyrically, when it came to it, I thought that Kendrick was a better lyricist when he came down and broke everything down. The one part that I couldn't pass, and I don't know if it's true or not, is if Drake really fed him wrong information, I think that's genius.
Okay.
I don't think I can lose if you're talking fake stuff about me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I just thought that was genius if he did that. I almost felt like that was the, damn, I'm Drake. I know people don't fuck with me anyway. I know I'm the villain. But if I could make this guy look a little crazy, I'll win. And I thought that was genius if that's what happened.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't know. But that's how I took it.
What's
That's
your
my
daughter's
feeling.
reasoning?
She just thought the way that Kendrick broke everything down from, Meet the Grams to how he came in and wasn't necessarily trying to make a hit record, and then what everybody thought Drake was going to do, he came back with a hit record.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she was on the Kendrick vibe.
Okay. Okay. All right. What's your favorite car? Like, it doesn't have to be one that you own or whatever. Like, what's your,
I love Ferrari.
Ferrari? Over Lambos?
Yes.
Why?
Ferrari's more of a drivable car.
Okay.
It's more comfortable to drive. I done drove my Ferrari from here to Miami.
Really?
Yeah, so it's comfortable. I drive it. I love it. It's fast. It's quick. But then you could drive it, and it's not too much speed. You can. That's my favorite.
Okay. What's your most regrettable purchase?
Fisker.
What's that?
Fisker was one of the first electric cars that also had a solar panel on the top, right? Now, this is how I talk about people being sheep. My dumbass is watching Ellen one day. Don't ask me why I was watching Ellen, but I had Ellen on. And Ellen had Justin Bieber on.
Okay.
And Justin Bieber talks about this car. It's a Fisker. It's good for the environment. One of the first electric cars. It recharges itself from the sun. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I don't have to pay for gas. Man, I bought that car. I remember the car was $99,816. I bought it. A week later, it was when the Fisker battery started catching on fire. Wow. So I tried to sell the car. 2 weeks later, I got $40,000 for that car.
Damn.
Lost $60,000 on that Fisker.
Wow. Well,
I stay away from pretty much electric cars.
Okay. Oh, now even, period.
Let me rephrase that. I stay away from any new dealerships without being tested. So, for instance, I wouldn't buy a Lucid. Okay. It's too new for me. I wouldn't buy, what's the other car with the R? What's the car with the R? Rennie? Rimac, whatever. I wouldn't buy that. No, the cheap one. What's it called with the R? Would it look like the pickup trucks with the funny lights? Yeah, Revenge. Yeah, I stay. You have to be a dealership that's been around for a long time because Fisker did me dirty.
Got you. I'm waiting for the Charger. The
new Charger.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dodge. Yeah.
I'm interested.
You're interested?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested. The Breakfast Club.
Yes, sir.
Club. How y'all doing?
Man, we doing great, man. We were, of course, in the Radio Hall of Fame. I don't know if you seen last week. We were just on Jeopardy.
I ain't see that.
We were just on.
Did y'all win?
No, we didn't win. It was one of the questions.
Oh, y'all was on there.
Which was amazing. I mean, Jeopardy's a show that I'm sure everybody's parents watch. So the fact that they said, just hilarious, just joined DJ Envy and Charlamagne on what show? Yeah. And, the answer was the Breakfast Club. White people didn't get it. Yeah. But it was just the fact that we were on Jeopardy just shows the impactful of the Breakfast Club and how
definitely.
much culture the Breakfast Club is, which was pretty dope.
Yeah, okay. I got to pull up. All hip hop turned 25. Last time we were on there, we were 20.
Wow.
So I definitely.
It's been 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Time flies.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having us. That was a good look for us. So since we don't have you up here all that much, I never write questions down. But, for Envy, I gotta write.
I appreciate that.
So I want to get your top 5 dead or alive rappers and DJs.
Okay.
Can we get that?
DJs, we could do Kid Capri.
Number 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Clue, number 2.
Okay.
See, now this is the problem. It's what you like him for.
Well,
Kid is the number 1 club DJ for
Yeah.
me. Clue is the number 1 mixtape DJ. Then you also got SNS.
Okay. SNS.
SNS, because he really taught me how to run the HBCU circuit. When I was
Okay.
going to college, he was controlling that, and I learned a lot from him for doing that. Jam Master J.
Okay.
I mean, just what he did for our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jazzy J.
Rest in peace. And Jazzy J.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you for at least someone who could that. He can do it all.
I mean, Kid could, Jazzy can, Jam Master can. So yeah.
All right, MCs.
Notorious B.I.G.
Number 1. Okay.
Hove.
Okay.
Nas.
Okay.
So now after you get to those 3, it's a little bit of both. It's a tough one.
Okay, 3.
It's a tough one because it's what I listen to. So
what's your favorite?
I love DMX.
Okay. Wow, I'm glad you said DMX.
I love the dog.
Okay.
But I also love Drake and I love Kendrick.
Oh. Okay.
And the reason I love, and I'll tell you, the dog is just somebody. He's just somebody special. He was able to translate, and he gave you everything from his heart.
Yeah.
Whether he was rapping hard or he was rapping an R&B record, he gave you everything from the heart. So that was always one of mine. Drake, I just love what Drake has done. Whether people believe he writes his own music or he doesn't, he's been able to transcend to write the streetest music, and he's been able to keep up with any lyricist out there to making you want to dance. You know what I mean? So I love Drake. And then Kendrick, what Kendrick has done in the last 5-10 years has just been amazing. Like, the boy spits, the boy puts out music that just, captivates your soul. So I'll go those.
So I gotta ask you one more question since we talking about this. Did J. Cole diminish his legacy jumping out the battle? Because he was, I'll ask that because he was on track. Like, he was popping off, basically. Legitimately. Lyrically, he seemed like he was really hitting his stride. Did he?
The thing with J. Cole with me is I love J. Cole, right? I've known J. Cole a long time. I always thought J. Cole was nice, but never got the respect. I felt like he never got the respect because people say he produced his own music. So he couldn't pick beats. He couldn't pick the tracks that was, that were people that were spitting on at that time. In the last 3-4 years, if you listen to J. Cole's been rapping on other people's beats. He's been rapping with people. He's been doing things outside of the box, and I think it's been a different light for him, and people have been looking at him a different light. Even when Kendrick first threw the dart and he went back at him, a lot of people didn't necessarily love the record, but I love the fact that he was ready.
Yeah.
He was war ready. I don't like the fact that he backed out.
Yeah.
It made me feel away. It's like your favorite superhero fighting and be like, I don't want to go to fight. You're like, whoa. Now we fighting. Even though we fight to death, we fighting. And he didn't. And he did it for his own personal reason. And I guess he felt like he was throwing, darts at his man, and that was his man, and that wasn't the way to do it. And I get it. But it just hurt me a little bit because at the end of the day, I don't think Drake or Kendrick are going to kill each other. It's not like how not Jay, but Big and Pac was. But I just thought it would have been good. You know what I mean? But yeah, to answer your question, I do think it hurts his legacy a little bit.
Y'all make a lot of light skin, dark skin jokes.
Don't say y'all. It's not y'all.
It's Charlamagne.
Yeah. Charlamagne makes a lot of light skin jokes, but it is what it is.
So it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with that.
Nah.
Okay. Good.
Maybe to them it does, but to me it doesn't.
By the way, those guys are both Cole and Kendrick are both in the documentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the original, like this goes back as far as, Cole didn't have dreads. Kendrick didn't have dreads at the time, but they were just talking how impactful the mixtapes were and the DJs were at the time, where
I think Cole said that, when he first came out, he didn't want to do a mixtape. Yeah. He was like, that's whack. I'll leave it to the DJs. And then he seen how impactful it was and put one out. And that's kind of what broke him.
Okay. Anything else for you? What's going on? Anything outside of...
Nah, just, I do the car shows each and every year. If you're around, look out for it. And of course, the Breakfast Club, and look out for part 2. Hopefully we get an opportunity to do part 2 of the documentary. We'll take it into a different light. And if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. You can DM me, tell me what you feel, tell me what you think was missing. I would love to have these conversations. I have these conversations all day long about DJs. 99% of them I met. And I just want to say a rest in peace to 2 DJs that meant a lot to me in the last, I would say, 10 years. One was K Slay, of course, and me and K Slay, we came up together in the mixtape game. We had beef, we were warring, but we took the mixtapes to a different level, and I always respect him. So definitely rest in peace. And of course, DJ Mr. C, Mr. C, who passed away recently. He was just one of those guys that just. We call him the family guy. And the reason we call him the family guy is because during Christmas and Thanksgiving, when every DJ would take off to be with their family, he would be the one that's live on the radio. He didn't care about the politics of the industry. He was just a good guy who just loved music, loved DJing. And, he would try to bother you in the club. Like if you was coming on before him or after him, good luck.
Yeah. Man, appreciate you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely.